Hello students, let us today study about plasmids, what are plasmids and how they are used in RDNA technology and especially in case of plants. So this is a example of a bacteria. You can see this is a bacterial cell. This red color thing is the nucleoid of the bacterial cell. These blue color round ring like structures are nothing but plasmids. And what are these plasmids? These are extra chromosomal genetic material, and these plasmids are used in RDNA technology. Now, if we take a detailed look on the structure of the plasmid, if you see a proper look, plasmid has a site which is called as the site of origin of replication site. Here, the replication process of the plasmid begins because this is also nothing but circular DNA only, extra chromosomal material. So it also undergoes replication, and the replication begins from the region of origin of replication site. And why is this site very important? Because when we are going to put a foreign DNA, join a foreign DNA, we are always going to join at the site of origin of replication, so that that foreign DNA easily can become a part of this plasmid DNA. Then if you see, this is a promoter region where the protein synthesis process will start. This is a selectable marker region. Which is a selectable marker region? Which is usually having some antibiotic resistant gene. Always remember students, plasmids are playing very important role in two things. In bacteria, one, they play important role in sexual reproduction, which we call as conjugation. And second important function they are playing in case of a bacteria, they provide resistance to different types of antibiotics for this bacteria. In this picture you can see it is written here antibiotic resistant gene. So this bacteria, it is having resistant to certain antibiotics because of this special region present on the plasmid, and now we call it as a selectable marker. Another region is restriction enzyme region. Here we are going to insert the foreign gene. Okay, so these are the different regions which are present on a plasmid. Most important is origin of replication region, antibiotic resistant region, promoter region, and so on. Now, plasmids most commonly used in RDNA technology, they are replicating in an E. coli. So E. coli is most favorite host which is used for cloning or making many copies of this recombinant DNA. You'll understand what is RDNA in next video. So they are engineered. Now any plasmid, if we talk, they don't have all the necessary requirements. Some may do not have some antibiotic resistant region, or some may not have a proper site of promoter. So we can engineer them, we can change them, we can change the genetic sequence on the plasmid so that, and optimize it so that we can use them as effective vectors. So this diagram I've taken from your textbook. If you see carefully, this is AMPR. AMPR means it is, this region is providing resistance to a antibiotic ampicillin. This is the region of origin of replication, and this is the region where we are putting this foreign DNA. We are inserting this foreign DNA. How to insert? First, restriction enzymes are used. It is cleaved over here. Yes, a cut is taken over here. After cut is taken, this foreign green DNA, you can see we are putting this, and it is joined to the plasmid genes with the help of enzymes like DNA ligase. So this is a structure of plasmid. Now we will see how plasmid vectors are there in plants. Naturally also there are some plasmid vectors which are occurring in plants. Let us see the example of Agrobacterium tumefaciens. This Agrobacterium tumefaciens, these are bacteria which are living in soil. Okay, so these are the bacteria which are living in the soil, and this is the nucleoid. This blue color thing is the bacterial genome, means nucleoid of the bacteria. This pink color thing is the plasmid. It is having a gene, this T1 plasmid gene it is having, which is tumor inducing plasmid, and it has a transposons region tDNA. Now what happens, this tDNA, it, when it is infecting the plant, it goes inside the cell of the plant. This tDNA, it leaves the plasmid of the bacteria and it enters into the plant cell, and then it causes tumors in the plant. It causes some disease condition in the plant. So this transposons, that is the tDNA, it will make many copies of itself into the chromosomes of the plant. In next picture, I'll show you this procedure. So you see, this is the Agrobacterium tumefaciens. This is the bacterial genome, the nucleoid. This is the plasmid with the tDNA, the transposons. This is a plant cell. this plant ka cell, this is the chromosome of the plant. This tDNA is infecting, you can see this is the tDNA over here, it is infecting the plant cell. And then what is it resulting? It is resulting in forming crown gall. It is a disease which is formed in plant. So this is what natural type of rDNA, the Agrobacterium tumefaciens tDNA. It leaves the plasmid of the bacteria, it enters into the chromosome of the plant cell, and it causes disease in crown gall. So this is naturally occurring rDNA, and this property of Agrobacterium tumefaciens can be used for another beneficial purposes. Okay, suppose tDNA is used as a transposons and this tumor inducing gene is replaced by some beneficial gene. Again this tDNA will enter, but now it doesn't has the gene for causing gall. But instead of that we can put some useful genes and induce some useful characters into this plant. So this is how they can be used as very good vectors. Transposons with new DNA can still be inserted into the host cell chromosomes. Just now I told you that only we can insert it into the host cells. A plant cell which is containing this DNA can then be grown in culture medium. So suppose this is a plant cell, this is the chromosome of the plant cell, and in this chromosome of the plant cell suppose we have inserted the tDNA, but we change genes, good genes we have inserted, and we can get many. Now this plant cell will be called as a transgenic plant. Why it is called as a transgenic? Because we have changed the genes, and we can get many copies of this by inserting it into a bacteria like E. coli or some other bacteria, and then we can get good properties or good nutrients of our benefit, whatever we need. Instead of gene we can change that tumor inducing gene into some useful gene, and we can make such type of transgenic plants. Now but we'll need some host now to get many copies of these transgenic cell. So basically the competent host which are used to clone such type of transgenic cells are bacteria such as Bacillus haemophilus or E. coli or Helicobacter pylori. These are the common bacteria which are used to make many copies of that transgenic cell. Suppose again I tell, if you have not followed, this was our plant cell, this was the chromosome of the plant cell, and in the chromosome of the plant cell we have induced a gene from the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, but we have played, we have engineered, we have changed the property of that gene. Instead of causing tumor we have put some genes which will create some good nutrients or vitamins or something good which we want. And then what we'll do, we'll put this into the bacteria, this bacteria will multiply, and as they multiply this good gene also multiplies, and then we get the product which we need in a larger proportion. So the mostly the E. coli is used for such type of transformation with rDNA. It is very easy to culture the bacteria, so basically they are used as a host for cloning and getting the desired product with the help of the transgenic cell or transgenic animal or anything. It can be a transgenic plant, it can be a transgenic animal, or it can be a transgenic microorganism, and so on. How this recombinant DNA is done, that I'm going to discuss the entire methodology for rDNA technology in the next PPT, next video. I hope you have understood today's part. Thank you.